In the following tutorial, we're going to take a quick look at correcting perspective in Photoshop. Now, I have a bunch of files open. I have the 15mm prime lens shot here, and you can see we have some definite distortion there. But then this is the more common type of shot where you have maybe a building that you've shot looking up at it, so you see the perspective here. And oftentimes in Photoshop, or let's say in 3D modeling, what we're really trying to do is get to the very flat models, such as this one here. So we need our model to be flat for the modeling process. So the perspective stuff just isn't going to work. So let's take a look at how we might be able to automatically fix it, and then how we have to do manual fixes. With this one, since I know what type of lens I shot with, a 15mm prime lens, I can possibly go to the Filter, Lens Correction, and choose the right type of lens. So if I go to my camera lens, I'm going to go to All. Let's see. Camera Make. I'm going to just try and see if I can get to all the different cameras. Let's see. Canon. Here it is. Finally, I can get to all lenses. I want to choose the 15mm lens, and then you'll see the Canon EOS 1D Mark III Canon f/28 15mm lens gives me exactly what I want. If I use the other one, it doesn't work. So that has a fisheye applied. But you can see this really does a pretty good job of fixing the perspective on this drawing now, or on this photo. And that's something that I might need to do if I need to have that photo used in some sort of 3D application. Now, more common is going to be something like this, that we need to fix the 3D perspective. So here's what you need to do. First off, you need to show your rulers. And the reason why is because I want to drag out some rulers that kind of give me some foundation to understand where all the lines are. I need those which are horizontal lines and those that are vertical. So this is going to be kind of my floor there, and then I'll put this on both sides. Now, you don't have to worry about being absolutely perfect, but because you'll be able to kind of fix some of that here when you're actually modifying your image. But you definitely do need to have some sort of structure for what your object is going to look like. Now, it's not a bad idea for me to also have maybe a center line. And I don't know exactly what my center line would be here, but since I have an object that's right in the center, that would be helpful. But my photo's a little off center anyway. So what we're going to do with this, in order to use the free transform tools, the very first thing that I need to do is double click on the layer and create a new name. And the reason why is because I cannot use the free transform tool on the background layer. It has to be a floating layer over the top of transparency. Now that I've got this grid system, I can go to Control T, which is the free transform tool, and while holding down the control key, I can modify the corners so that I distort my image. So I'm going to distort that there, distort that there. I can raise this up just a little bit, raise that up a little bit, might bring that up. So I'm going to try and get this to kind of fit here properly. Like I said, if it's not perfect, we can modify it. So I'm going to take that up because I need that to be flat. Bring all that down. And it looks as though this is getting close. Nice thing is if you hold down the control key, you can then modify your guides just a little bit more, because I want to try and get this as precise as possible. And I think we're right about on. It looks as though there's a little bit off there at the top, so I'm going to just stretch that out a tiny bit more. Bring all of it down just a tiny bit. You can see I can work with perspective. It might be smart to have other lines here just for those corners, or for those vertical lines, just to make sure. And it looks like I'm staying within that line pretty well. So I think this is a pretty good job. So now I'm going to double click on it, and there is where I've fixed the perspective. Now it would be a good idea for me to go ahead and, of course, do the outlining to get rid of all the other parts of this image that are not important, or at least crop it to the part that I'm going to need for my application. So I might crop that image, and you'll see that we've corrected that perspective quite a lot in that file. And so what I'd like you to do is go on with the tall building and with the Parthenon and try and correct the perspectives of these buildings as well. And that's pretty much the first step of getting your images from that distorted perspective to this flat perspective that you need for modeling. And when you're done, go on, save your work and go on to the next tutorial. Thanks.